Hey there, so today I want to talk to you about expectations or aligning expectations and actually working out how to connect with people at the same level, same point, so we're not always missing each other, because it seems to be something that so many of us do in so many situations. So, let's sit down a little bit. So, how and where? Well, this will come up many times in our relationships, close relationships with the people that we share our lives with, that close mates, close family members, but also in our job and career and businesses, where so many times we just don't set or align or match expectations with other people, and it leads to all sorts of stupid, pointless shit and problems and worry, because so many of us get stuck in our head thinking about other people's opinions or what they're thinking or what's going on, when what we perhaps need to do is actually just have a conversation and align those expectations. So it happens, something that I learned a long time ago when I started out as a personal trainer, that I need to align expectations when a new client comes on board. This is what you're expecting of me, cool. This is what I'm expecting of you, and this is what you can expect of me. So we actually both know what's happening. It means we both know where we stand, but it also means, for me, I can actually exceed those expectations if I choose to. But if they're expecting something of me that we haven't discussed and I am not going to deliver because I'm down here, it's going to end in a mess, right? And that happens all too often. But it happens in our relationships. Someone's expecting this, the other person has no idea of that, and they're missing each other, right? At work, a lot, you're expecting something of someone, you might have too high expectations, you might be too low, and it just requires having a conversation to align those expectations. So for me, this is a big theme with so many things for guys. It's just having the conversation. It comes through in so many different aspects of our lives. We start thinking or worrying about certain things that if we just had a conversation with someone, we could get it sorted. The problem being, those conversations usually are very hard conversations to have, or more importantly, we think they're going to be very hard. We think they're going to be awkward and uncomfortable. Usually, if we actually do it, it's not that bad. It's nowhere near as bad as we had subconsciously, I suppose, because usually we don't give it that much thought it would be. So ask yourself, how bad could this be? What is the worst that could happen? And what is the best that could happen, right? The worst that could happen, usually not that bad. The best, potentially very good, depending on the context and the situation. But have the conversation and align those expectations. Now, one of the reasons I'm talking to you about this today is because I sent an email to my email list last week, which if you're not on, you can go to my website, unleashyouralpha.com, and sign up. There's plenty of places to do that there. And then Nards, my partner, read it and she was like, you sound like you're having a bit of a whinge. And maybe she was right. I was in a very weird, busy, crazy cloud of head space. And I think what had happened was I just had different expectations of certain people, I suppose. And I hadn't had that conversation, perhaps. So it was very front of mind for me around aligning expectations. Now, I don't want to talk because I know this has gone too reasonably long. So let's comment below and talk to me about where you struggle to meet or align expectations with people and why that is. Is there been conversations that you've been avoiding? Talk to me below about what conversations you need to have, you feel like you should be having, but you're not. You're putting off because of awkwardness, because you think it's going to be uncomfortable. Because at the end of that, there's probably a good solution. At the very least, starting it out and aligning expectations and connecting at the same point on the spectrum. Right now, the spectrum of connection is another thing I talk about in my workshops, which I won't talk about here, but the long and short of it being, you actually align where you're trying to connect, so you both are playing on the same page. Comment below. Thanks for watching. Let's talk about aligning expectations and taking confusion out of our relationships and connections with other people.